listener parenthesis. I'm going to make the anonymous inner class new on item click listener on item click listener parenthesis parenthesis. I leave the other parenthesis open. I didn't close it here because we want to make anonymous inner class. And the only method that we need to override is on item click. Override. Public void on item click. Parenthesis. Argument is adapter view. Adapter view, which is generic. That's what we put question mark, and we call it, let's say, parent, comma. We have view v, imager position, imager position, and finally we have long ID. These are all arguments of on item click, and after that we're gonna take care of on item click. We need to create text view. Text view TV equals text view get activity, get activity dot I'll continue the next line. Find view by ID. Find view by ID r dot ID dot select opt. We just use select opt like this, right? Yeah. Select opt. Selected opt. Selected opt. Okay. The only thing that is important here that you need to know is whenever you want to get the ID in activity, normally you're using what? Find view by ID. But since we are in a fragment and we do not have activity, you need to create the object of activity.
So the question I was asking was over here, you've got find view by ID as a member function of view.
You mean here?
In VW, isn't that right there, right by
You mean
here?
here?
No. Yeah, but down below.
The list view.
Find view by ID is a member function of the view.
You
And
put
it
like a
creates member
VW,
function of the
like
activity. VW.find view by ID.
the list view, when you create the list view.
Let me see that. You mean here?
Yeah.
It seems that,
Is that supposed to be get activity instead of VW there?
on the fragment one.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. So you're.
That's what I'm confused by.
Well,
Why is it view there and activity over there?
well, find view by ID is available in view,
Oh,
right? But we are not in view here.
oh, okay.
Okay, so we need to view has find view by ID.
Okay.
Okay, so
Both
just
have.
direct. But here we need to create the object of the activity, and through that get find by ID. Okay.
Okay.
Because find by ID is one of the methods of the activity, right?
That's not the same view up there.
Okay. This is done. Now we have to use tv.setText. tv.setText. Parenthesis. I'm going to say you've selected such and such. You have selected plus, let's cast it to text view. Text view. Parenthesis. I'll continue on the next line. Okay, text view. I have to use text view V. Parenthesis. Okay. Text view is plus get dot get text convert it to string, otherwise it's not gonna work. Should be string. And everything is done. All I need to do is close the right brace and close this and close this. Okay? Closing all of it. So this is we are giving life to our text, okay? To our list view. You click on list view and it's going to display one of those items. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Just to make sure,
Okay.
does this use the subclass of the view class,
List view is
not the subclass?
subclass of the view class? No.
Okay.
Now, I'm gonna make fragment 2 Java. This was the Java code for fragment 1, right? Fragment 2 is pretty simple because fragment 2 is nothing but displaying what? The item, right? So I'm going to make the fragment 2 and let's continue. I need to delete the board. Can I clean up? I don't know, because I need them. Let's see.
You got a fresh one over there on the left?
Anyway, well, that is
Oh, it's in the
really
way.
hard to write over.
Okay.
So I'm going to delete this part. Is it okay for you?
You got it?
Can I ask you a question about this?
Please.
Briefly, I hate those anonymous classes.
Oh,
Could you briefly tell me once again how you can do that without doing the anonymous in a class?
well,
Do you
without
really
anonymous
implement-
class, there are several ways. If we do not want to use anonymous class, we could make another class, separate class.
Right.
That class is gonna implement the interface. What's the name of the interface?
Oh,
The name of the interface is on item click listener.
Okay, but you can't implement it here because fragment doesn't extend activity.
That's correct.
I
So we're gonna make a separate class, and that class is gonna implement on click list, and we don't need to make anonymous.
And then you
You're gonna make
just
it
set the on-prem listener to that.
non-anonymous. Okay?
But you can't
that-
implement it here, okay, I
Yeah.
understand.
But that requires making another separate
Right,
class. So I wanted
that's,
to-
I understand why
Okay.
it's
Then
useful.
you are not the only one who really.
I just like
doesn't
using it,
like-
it seems cleaner the other way if you're using an activity there. Cause you can
Yes.
just put in on click, whatever, in your activity and set it.
I agree with you, it's ugly. Honestly, it's ugly, okay? But,
But we're learning.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry about that, it's really ugly.
No, that's okay. I
Not your
understand,
fault.
I understand since you can't implement it here, so. I understand, that makes sense.
Now, the second fragment is pretty simple. It is, let me write it down for you. This fragment is taking care of only text view, and that's it, right?
Okay.
But if you remember, we have two fragments. One is taking care of list view, right? And the other one is taking care of displaying the result, text view, right? That's what we are doing. Okay, can we split that? Okay. Package.
All right, so we're gonna do a bundle this together for us. Because it doesn't have to even be this complicated to get.
Dot CS311D. Make sure you're gonna put all of it in the same package, okay? Otherwise, it's not gonna work.
I'm up to two different guys. Seemed easy.
Public class. We call this frag2 activity. Extend
This involves so well, huh?
fragment. Okay. And add override. As I mentioned earlier, the only method that normally we are overriding is on create view. This is the one that is going to come to life when it will be called when. Okay. Public view on create view argument list actually layout inflator. Li comma view group VG comma bundle B. Okay.
You say so.
And all it does, returning li dot inflator or dot layout dot frag2 comma VG comma false. We discussed about what false means here. And job is done. Job is done. As this is the fragment 2. As you see, it's pretty simple. All it does is this. Okay? Yes.
I think in the first fragments on create view, after we set the on item click listener, we're supposed to return the list view LV that we've made, right?
It doesn't return anything?
Yeah, it didn't return anything.
You forgot to return it at the end. I think.
Yeah, let me see that. We need to return a view, right? We're creating a view, so
Yeah,
right.
after
Yes.
you do.
Down at the bottom
Right
over
over
there.
here.
Click list- Yeah, okay.
It
Down
should
there.
be, thank you very much. Right, it should be right over here, am I right?
Yeah, it's one, between one of those front
Between,
addresses, whichever one it is.
It
put it in there.
means it should be, okay.
From the end.
Is it in the class or in the
Yeah,
override?
exactly, it should be right over here.
Within the class, then outside the override?
No, it should be one up.
Am I right?
But anyway,
Yes.
no, one up.
Yeah,
One up.
One up will be inside
It's
the
it's two
override.
braces in.
There you go.
It is here,
Yeah.
let me see.
That's inside the override.
Yeah, okay.
And what is it they're telling you? to do?
Return what?
VW, right?
VW.
Okay, that makes sense. No,
Okay. Thank you very much. Otherwise, we would not be able to go.
it wouldn't show us anything.
Compiler would give you error right away.
You able to take this
Okay.
somewhere or something? You did in your head?
So,
No, we just
what
return
what we did so far was we made two XML files for layout of fragment 1 and fragment. We made two Java code, frag 1 activity and frag 2 activity, right? Okay? And now we need to combine them together. Okay? Now see how we're gonna put them together, okay? Because as you remember, before the break, I said actually fragments without activity do not do anything, right? So whatever you made is not working at all. It's just fragments, okay? So now we're gonna learn how we put fragments under the umbrella of one or more activities, okay? See how I do that, okay?
Okay, over there with the VW, does that stand for the entire list? Whereas LV is just the single one that you've looked up?
Well, look at what is returning.
Returning a review that you inflated.
The
And
view.
already we have view and returning view.
Okay, so it's returning
We
the
have
VW.
Yes, and already we have view returning.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Now let's go for surgery. See how put them together.
Do you mind if I ask you some question? This one does need a bundle. The constructor for the you override there, not the constructor, the public view. Oh yeah, bundle is there, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one place.
Okay. So now let's see how we could do that. You want to go and put them together, okay? First of all, we need to make a XML. We need to make a special XML file. This XML file, this is a master layout that is going to combine both of those XML together for this fragment and that fragment. So we need to make a master layout, okay? Fallen. Can I delete this guy? Everybody took notes? Everybody took a picture? How about here? Everything? Okay. So, last call, guys. Delete. Okay. About got. Now I want to put your master XML layout.
Return.
Okay. Please pay attention to this. Whatever I've covered so far will be pretty simple, but now you need to learn how you put them together, okay? I'm going to call this XML file activity underscore fragments underscore app.xml. This is the name that I have selected. You could call it whatever you want. Activity underscore fragments underscore app.xml. I made it like this, okay? You could call it any name which you want, doesn't really matter, okay? But I just want to make it some meaningful name, okay? Okay. So I'm going to write a complete XML file for you because it's very important to know how you are structuring this XML, okay? Okay. So let's start. First one is XML whatever. After that we have Android colon layout width equals match parent. And Android colon layout height equal match parent. Okay, and orientation. What should I put for orientation? Vertical or horizontal?
Horizontal.
Exactly. Exactly, because when we are in landscape, right, both of these could fit into side by side, right? List view and our text view, which is explanation of the fruit, could be placed side by side, right? So we need to have horizontal, right? When we are combining it together. Android colon orientation equal horizontal. Okay, and we close this guy. Okay, now we need to incorporate two fragments into this. Okay, see what the technique is to do that. We need to make a tag, we call it fragment. Okay, and now look at that. Android colon name equal. You need to put the name of the fully qualified package name of your fragment one, okay? And which I'm going to put for you. If you remember, the package name was com.cs311D, right? Now colon, and the name of the fragment was frag1 activity. Do you remember? Frag1 activity. So this is the fully qualified name for Android name, okay? And now Android ID equal at plus ID flag1. Because fragments in this case are used as a widget, right? So you have to have ID for that. And Android colon layout weight
But the right way is
equal
that
1
you add the guide into my head,
and
because there are a bunch of columns when you
Android colon
when you get the
layout width equal wrap content.
but the good is the idea of kind of one step between another. Okay.
And Android layout underscore height equal match parent. We close this guy. This takes care of the first fragment. Guys, I have a question. What does that mean? Android layout to weight equal 1. In the other one, I'm gonna, use weight equals 0. What does that mean, weight? What does weight do?
Is it the position that it,
What?
is it the,
Those have as much space as possible.
Exactly.
okay.
So it adds all the weight together and divides it by this one, right? Divides this one by that.
That's
Which is-
Yes. Yeah. So this is fragment 1. Now let's make fragment 2. Fragment 2 is pretty much the same as that. So I need to clean this part of the board and put fragment 2 over there. Okay? Okay. Okay. Under the fragment. Any fragment should have a name, so Android name is called fully qualified fragment name, which is CS311D dot flag activity flag 2 activity flag 2 activity flag 2 activity. Okay, and you're gonna invoke ID for that. Android ID equal at plus ID and flag 2. Android weight equal 0. One of them selected 1, the other one selected 0. What's the difference between 1 and 0?
The size.
What?
It's not gonna be there unless you do something about it.
Yeah.
So, but it's layout weight, right?
Yeah. And width and height, and that's it. Android colon. Yeah.
Unless you, I guess he has to inflate
Layout
something there or something, I don't know. By default, it will display it,
Cool. Yep.
right?
Yep. Looks like it's waiting for the other choice. It's waiting for us to get the click button.
Wrap content. And Android colon.
They want this to
Layout.
change.
Height equal match parent. Okay, pretty much done. Let's close this guy and let's close linear layout.
Okay.
As you saw, I made one new XML file for layout, and what we did, we incorporated both of these fragments into it. Okay? Okay? Now, as you see, everything is done statically, right? Manually. It means I want all of these, for example, 2 fragments be like that. But later on, we're going to learn about how this action could be done dynamically. It means automatically the system is going to do it for us, right? Which is a very interesting subject, but we need to learn this first, and after that talk about the dynamic part of it, right? Okay, so one small part is left, and let's see, we discuss about this guy, okay? Now we need to write a Java code that is take care of this guy, right? Okay? So this Java code is our actual activity. I have not made any activity yet. I made fragments, right? And now see how I'm going to put these fragments under the umbrella of activity, and that's it. Okay? Let's talk about it. We don't need that. We already took notes. This is activity number 1, right? And activity number 2. Okay, so we have already done that. We don't worry about it.
And all this is a static fragment?
Pardon me?
All this is one static fragment?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. But later on, we're going to learn how to do it dynamically. Okay? But let me tell you something. Some of the beginners in this field think always dynamic fragments are better. Not at all. No. Let's say, in my group, which are working together at work, we have several fragments. Okay, each fragment is in different jobs. Okay, and after that, depending on the application, we are selecting some of these fragments and putting them together. Right? Fragments already individually are made by a group of programmers, okay? And now, depending on our needs, you could pick these fragments manually, put them together, make a layout, and do that, right? So in this example, I have selected 2 fragments, right? As you see, fragment 1 and fragment 2, right? I've selected 2 fragments. Okay? If for example, in some applications we have several fragments, you could select some of those that we need and put them together, right? It's like a Lego now. Have you played with Lego that you could select whatever piece and put them together to make something? All of these fragments are already made, okay? And depending on what you want to do, you pick them and put them together. Not all of them, some of them, right? And you see how to do that, okay? The very first thing is you make the layout out of those fragments in a way that I showed you. And after that, now you're going to make an activity to put all of these fragments or some of these fragments under the control. And that's it, okay? So let's do that. Same package. CS311D. Okay. Public class fragment activity extends activity. Finally, we come back to that, right? Right? At override, we need to have on create public void on create on the B super dot on create B set content view r dot layout dot activity underscore fragments underscore app. This is the one that we made. Okay? And that's about it. See how easy the gluing is? All you need to do is just make your own and create, right? And this line does the whole job because you already put your fragments in your XML, right? So
Otherwise,
you
you'd have
don't
to
need
do
any
that-
Java code for that.
That transaction stuff the book's talking about, that's the dynamic one.
Exactly.
That was really complicated. Don't understand that at all.
It'll become just as complicated as it is today.
Guys, we're playing with that, with this program on several different computers, exactly the same code that I wrote, and it works very nice. Okay, you highly recommend you play with that and see how it works. Okay, it's really nice. It's pretty simple, but you know, it gives you exactly what you need.
Because now I don't understand the way the fragment.
Okay.
He just put dot, 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 that's what it, linear layout. Dot.
Okay, guys.
That's the name of it.
Let's continue. Let's continue, guys, okay? As you see, what we did actually, we made two fragments, one activity, put them together, and this is the result, right? This, based on the orientation that we have, it works really well on landscape, but doesn't work on actually in portrait, right? We have not made any mechanism to that say this is a landscape, do it this way, otherwise do it that way, right? Okay? So what we need to do now is this. We want to make an application that if it is in a portrait, if it's in a portrait, if it's in a landscape, that's it, the whole thing, right? Everything ready. But if it is in a portrait, the story is different. Because in portrait, both of these fragments would not fit into the portrait, screen, right? So in this case, we need to have two activities. Okay? Two activities. One activity is doing what? Is taking care of or displaying the text view, actually the list view. And when you select the item, let's say Apple or something, immediately another activity should fire up and display the results, right? Following?
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah, sure.
If you remember, I showed you, let me remind you again. This, whatever we have done, works like that. Okay? This is landscape. We have our list view, right? And we have our text view. This is our text view. Whatever. Okay? See that?
Yep.
So far, so good? Whatever we've done. This is, if you run it in a landscape, this is going to work perfectly. Okay? But in portrait, it's not going to work properly because in portrait, the results might be very ugly. So, this is Perfect, okay? But now we want to do in a way that if it becomes portrait, the result should be like that. Okay? In portrait, we cannot put everything into one screen, so we need to do it like that. This is our list view, right? Okay? And when you click on this list view, we need to immediately create an intent and pass the selected item using the intent to the other activity, and the result is gonna be something like that, for example, whatever it is. Okay? Apple is a good fruit. See that? We have not made any of these mechanisms in this program. Right? Now we want to do it. Okay?
Do you mind one more question?
Go ahead, I'm here.
I still don't understand, and now I don't understand the layout with 0 over there. Why is it 0?
Well, when two different fragments, or not general fragments, two different widgets are placing in one layout, okay? We need to weigh them.
Yes.
One should have a priority over the other one, okay? When you give weight one to one of them, it means that is gonna use the maximum amount of space as possible.
Okay.
And the other one is gonna use minimum. So this one, the weight of this is more than the weight of that.
Okay.
It means this is gonna use more screen than the other one. Okay? So if you look at the screen, you see the big part of the screen is designated for that, and the small part of the screen is designated for that.
Okay.
Okay? If you give, for example, 0 and 0, it means no priority.
Right, and same with 1 and 1.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the way that you do it.
Okay.
Guys, any other comment or question? Please interrupt me if you have any question, any problems, or don't understand, you don't follow me, because I don't know if you have forgotten CS311D or you have not been my students. I have, some of your background is not really clear to me. So if you have a question, let me know. Question not about semicolon or brace or something like that. Okay. Talking about the question about the Android program, okay? Okay, so let's continue that. Now we want to take care of how to handle both of these, this and this, okay? Okay. First of all, in order to work well in landscape, what should we do? We need to copy this guy that is taking care of landscape into what? Into layout dash land. This is the first thing that we need to do, right? Otherwise, it's not going to work properly. Okay. So, if you want this guy works well in the landscape mode, because landscape mode you are taking advantage of both of these fragments, right? Both fragments are available, fragment 1 and fragment 2. Okay, so you need to copy this, okay, into the land dash, into the layout dash land. Okay, at the beginning of our discussion, we talked about it. You remember, Coach? Okay. Now, when we are going for clicking, right? On click here. Okay? We need to check if we are in a landscape, do it that way. Otherwise, do it the other way, right? Because if we are in a landscape, everything would fit into a screen, right? So there's no problem. But if it is not in a landscape, in a portrait, it wouldn't fit into one screen. So what should we do? We need to create an intent and put part of it into another activity, right? So you need to add code for that. So far, so good? Are you following me? Otherwise, doesn't work. So we need to add a little bit dynamism to this. So let's do that. I need to clean up the board. You guys need to clean up? Okay. Now, everything is okay here, but I need to change. I need to change set on item click listener. So I need to change this part because this part needs a bit surgery, right? We need to check if it is portrait or not and stuff like that, right? So I'm gonna take care of this part for you, okay? This is because we need to make a kind of condition, otherwise forget about it. So, let's get into LV dot set on item click listener new on item click listener. Guys, I have, I want to tell you something. If you do not like, because in all of the examples that I'm going to write in this course, I am going to use anonymous inner class very heavily, because this is a little bit more compact and easier for me. But if for any reason, this is just a matter of personal opinion, okay, personal taste, okay? If you do not like the way that I am doing, because now I'm trying to implement, implement the only method available here. But if you do not want it, do it this way, okay? Forget about it. Just say class, let's say do it, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter, okay? And implements on item click listener, okay? And after that, do whatever you need to do here, which I'm going to show you, and go back over there, and instead of typing new on item listener or something, just put this, put new, do it, right? That's it. So in this case, it's not going to be very cryptic, it's not going to be ugly, looks very nice. You are trying to catch it. What it does, it says catch the event. To catch the event, the argument is the object of the class that implements the listener, right? This means object of the class that implements listener. And I have made a class and I'm implementing that, right? But to combine them together is more compact, but the result is ugly. Okay? Completely to Oracle now that is not making something better than that. Of course, this is, let me tell you, this could be much better if you want. I can write for you in Oracle 8, actually in Java 8, right? Java 8 is actually is taking advantage of lambda expression, okay? In lambda expression, that is very neat and elegant, okay? And lambda expression is acceptable now in latest versions of Android, okay? But I am a little bit hesitant to write lambda expression for you guys because I am afraid that maybe some of us are not familiar with this new technology, okay? And this is a bit problematic, okay? But if you guys want, I can give you a lecture one of these nights, maybe for about half an hour at most, teaching you how to use lambda expression and how to make functional interface, because we need to make functional interface, okay? How to make functional interface and how to make lambda expression. Once we learn it, from now on, we're not going to make this kind of ugly anonymous inner class. We just use a lambda expression, very elegant, very nice, and we do it, okay? This is another solution, okay? Fair enough? Okay. So let me know if you are happy with that, okay? So let's go back to ugliness. New on item, click listener. Now we are taking advantage. Now we're going to override actually we are not overriding, we are implementing. This override is wrong, but this is the way that it is, okay? We are still using at override because we do not have at implement, right?
Okay.
Because many people at work told me that this is not really this is not right. We are not overriding, we are implementing. What's it? That's the way it is. Okay? At override, that is misguiding in public. Void on item click is the only method in that interface that need to be implemented, and that's what we are doing. And the argument is adapter view generic adapter view parent comma vuv comma imager position. Position means where the item is positioned or located in our list view, okay, because when you click it, right? And long ID. Okay. Now, we need to find out if you are in landscape or if you are not in landscape, right? Very easily, we assume that we have made a method is landscape, right? Okay. If is landscape. Guys, please in your notes, mention that this is the one that you need to make, right? And if you do not have it, I can write it down for you again. Because based on what we covered last time, right?
Yeah, you wrote it a couple different ways.
Okay. If is one way, I told you last time that one way to do this is you get the width and height, right? So I showed you width and height of the screen, and it would be, if width is greater than height, then you are in landscape, right? This is.
Did you say get resources was depreciated? Because you showed us a really simple one that was just get resources.
I don't understand what
You showed us a simple method that used the get resources,
Yes, that one will work too.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
that was-
definitely.
yeah, that was-
Actually, last time I showed you 2 or 3 different
Oh, yeah.
ways to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Either one of them, okay?
Cool.
It's up to you. You could find the shortest one and do that, okay?
So, Abbas, you're just gonna repeat that code over there now, right?
Yeah.
So just
Well,
say
actually,
repeat, just say repeat.
little bit different.
Okay.
He's gonna edit the top.
You know,
two
the
out.
reason I'm trying to make everything complete for you guys, okay?
Okay.
You know why? Because it make my job easier. If I don't put complete on the board for you, student will send an email to me, Abbas, this part is not working, this part is this, and lot of problem. So I'm gonna try to,
right.
you know,
Okay.
be perfect here.
Is there any
Okay.
change to that
So,
though?
we only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. The whole thing is 6 lines, and that's it, okay?
Okay.
If it is landscape, only 6 lines. 6 view. TV equals text view, get activity. When you are analyzing the code, look at it and ask yourself, why Abbas is doing it that way? Why Abbas is calling get activity? Why we need that? Try to bring some reasons that why I'm doing this, and try to understand. Not just close your eyes and say, okay, that's it. There's a reason behind it. Activity.
And pray it works.
Dot. For example, why I'm calling it activity here,
Were we in a fragment?
and why I'm not calling it activity somewhere else. There is a reason behind it, okay? Find view by ID, and find view by ID needs r r.id r.id dot selected up selected up from our XML file, and that's it. TV dot set text, now display it. You select it. Double quote plus. Now we need to get that. And we need to cast it all at the same time. Text, view, parenthesis, we need to cast it, text view, and dot get text, get that, and convert it to string. Dot to string, parenthesis, semicolon. That's it. Okay? Now let's talk about else part. Else part, it means what? It means we are in portrait. Okay? And in portrait, we cannot use 2 items side by side, right? One of them would fit. Now see what we do. Okay? I need to clean up this part of the board. Okay? Believe it, guys, from early in the morning, I have been working until now. From early. Believe it. When I started my day, maybe some of you still sleeping, right? And I'm still working here. Okay. let's go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is my job. And I really enjoy that. Okay. Yes. We need to create an intent. Okay? Intent. I equal new
Next page.
intent. Parenthesis. Okay. Intent, the first argument of intent is a context. You remember from last semester? We need to create context because this is not the activity. This is what? This is fragment. Fragment doesn't have context. Okay, it doesn't have activity. Now see what we're gonna do.
Get active and get
In,
context.
when you're working with the fragment, you know, you have to do everything yourself, right? Nothing is provided for you. Okay?
Maybe get active and get context.
See what I'm gonna do.
Figure it out.
Okay, get activity.
And get context.
Get activity. Guys, I'm not very happy. Let me ask you a question. Get activity is a method of what? This method belongs to what class?
This one is gonna be
See, look at,
Yeah,
I'm just
right.
calling it, right?
To get class.
I'm just calling get activity. Belong to what class?
it's gonna be belong
And
to
you
the
need, and you know that, but calling
fragment.
get activity, yes, this
Fragment.
is the method of the fragment class.
Right, you don't need it here,
Why?
because you're in activity yourself.
I don't have
Oh,
activity.
you're in,
I am in the fragment. Fragment doesn't have activity.
No, but it's extending it simply there.
I thought you were extending the fragment.
No, he's doing that part right there on the corner there. He's not doing the activity, he's doing the fragment.
You
Okay.
mean,
Oh, yeah?
Oh, no.
I see. You're in the frag, you're back in the.
It's back in fragment.
well, if you remember, I'm rewriting it separately.
Oh, yeah,
okay?
you're in the fragment.
You're in the fragment.
Two different,
Yeah.
it's completely
So
segregated from each other.
it's part of the fragment class, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
there's an Excel
Okay.
file and,
so get activity, dot. So I need activity, okay? Because the argument of intent needs actually context.
So get active,
To
get
create
context.
context, I have to have activity. So this is this. After that, once I get the activity, I can call get application context. Get application context is one of the methods of the activity,
Mm.
right? Okay. Get application context. Parentheses, the first argument, so context is made. The second one is what? Is the class file, something that class, okay? Show item activity, I'm gonna call it show item activity, because this class is not made for you guys yet, okay? But this, what it does, it just show the item, right? Do you remember? Because
because it
now
can
we
do another
have,
activity
we
too.
have list view, click, another activity should start up that show information about your apple, about pear, right? That class is not made, okay? Are you following me?
yes.
Okay. Okay, comma, show item activity dot class. Do you remember it should be a class file, okay? Okay? We created the intent. Now, once the intent is created, we need to pass data to that intent. Let's say you have selected apple, you have selected pear. So, this program should receive your apple, your selected item. And after I talk about it, okay? So, that means I need to use
Put
put
extra.
extra, okay? Intent is created, I dot
The extra.
put extra parenthesis. I need to have, when you put extra, you have to have actually a key value.
Give us.
So I'm gonna create a key as item. Okay? And value. Value means what? I need to get this value from my text view. No, from my list view. Okay? So I'm gonna show you how to get it. This is text like that already, or maybe I should do it myself.
How about just
Uh,
last sheet?
V dot get text dot convert it to string. And now what should I do? Start the activity.
Okay, it is good.
Start activity, parenthesis, I, and close and close and close and parenthesis. I don't forget this time, return view, return VW, right? And finally, close the gun. Okay? So, this is done. Okay? What we have done so far was when you are in landscape, it takes care of a job. When you are in portrait, we need to have two activities. One is displaying the list view item. The other one is displaying the result, okay? Because they don't fit into one screen. And the one that is displaying the result is right over here, okay?
So this show item is gonna be nothing but like that active there, but just with different layout.
Yeah. Guys, we need to do a lot about fragment, okay? And let me tell you what we're gonna do next time. Some of you guys are very tired, really discouraging, okay? So, as soon as we get together next time, I'm gonna write this code for you. Okay, which is pretty simple, okay? That-
5 minutes.
Yes, I'm just gonna get the data and do the job. Would you like I do for you?
It's only gonna take 5 minutes.
Oh,
Let's finish
cool.
it.
Keep your eyes open.
Please.
Okay, my eyes are open.
Finish it.
I need audience,
Confused
okay?
if he doesn't get to the end of it
Okay,
now.
so, yeah, let's finish that part. Let's finish that part, okay? This guy. Okay? So, and after that, we could designate our entire lecture next time for dynamic
Okay?
fragments that automatically system is going to put them together or separate them. Is how to add, how to remove, how to replace
I think you
dynamic.
can reuse that one, no, Mr. Alves? You can
I
just
think
change
you did the board.
change the name for that one, no?
Change the name of this?
Yeah, and then
Sure,
you
I'll do
reuse.
that.
You have to do everything again.
Yes,
That's about all you gotta do.
okay. So I'm going to change this for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to write it in black that shows all of the new stuff, okay? So, this is show item activity. Show, we call it show item activity? Yes, show item activity.
Yeah, but you can get that just by calling the second.
Okay,
Extends.
that's okay, so far so good. At override on create bundle is fine, super, and okay. Let's put super dot on create B, okay? Now, what we are doing is, what's gonna happen, we need to check if we are in landscape, nothing, because we've already taken care of landscape. But if you are in portrait, do the job, right? Look at how I take care of it, okay? We had a discussion about this part with my co-workers. They said this part is not needed, and I was trying to convince them that this part is needed, okay? When you go home, take a look and see why I did that, okay?
Oh.
If
Existed in it.
is landscape simply Don't do anything. Finish and return. Finish and return. Do not do anything. Because another program is already taking care of it. Okay? Otherwise, do something. Can I delete this block? Okay? Guys, I want to tell you something and after that I'm going to write a code for you. In this course, I am writing a lot of methods for you. Like, for example, like is portrait, or many of them. But I normally do not put them into a code because it's just wasting time that I rewrite the whole thing. But I assume that you have them, right? No, how are you going to handle this? It means every time you're going to add your code into here, separate, because you have to have is landscape here. Are you going to copy and paste here? Yes or no?
No.
What are you going to do?
Create a class with my methods and call it.
Well,
Depend.
this is one approach, but I have a better approach. If you guys are using Java 8, okay, you could make a library very easily. Library of all of the methods. How? Make an interface, okay? Make an interface. Just say public interface my lib, okay? And inside that, put all of these methods, because interface in Java 8 is fully capable of handling what? Handling source code. It means handling your code. It is not only the signature, okay? So put all of these methods one after each other, and right over there, say extends this, implements
Your
my life.
interface.
So everything is available for you, okay? I told you. Continue.
Was it in
Okay, very good technique, very
Yep.
good, okay?
That's new.
I saw
Okay.
it, create a library.
Couple of lines, guys, okay? This show activity Java, okay? Otherwise, set
I didn't need that whole library stuff because
content view, set content view for r dot
there you go.
layout dot fragment 2, I believe. Yeah, fragment 2 was taking care of text view. Do you remember? Fragment, did you call it frag 2 or fragment?
Right.
Frag 2?
Function.
For this one, you do the same thing, say content.
Frag 2 dot
You
external,
don't
okay?
have to do it with all these.
And now, what I need to do, I need to get data that is sent to me, the name of the fruit, okay, by using bundle. I'm going to use bundle. Extras equal get intent and get intent has a method get extras okay. I got the data. Actually I create the object object of the bundle. Now we're gonna have we need to check if data is sent to me, maybe data is not sent to me. If extras not equal null, it means if we have a data. Okay, null, if we have a data. Couple of lines and that's it. 3 more lines. That's it. And time switch. String. Selected item. equal extras dot get
Yes.
string and we use item
Item.
as a key. We got that and dump it into text view. Text view. The TV equal text view, find view by ID. Since we are in activity, we don't have to worry about it. Find view by ID is available by ID. Parenthesis r dot ID dot selected out. Selected out. Okay, and display that. Finish. TV dot set text. You have selected plus selected item. The method selected item is going to tell us what you have selected. Okay, we have already got selected item over there. And finished. Close this and close this. Okay.
Maybe.
I need to tell you 5 more seconds and that will be good to go. Guys, when you are running this program, it's not going to work because you need to add one line to a manifest file. I'm going to write the last line for tonight, add this line to the manifest file, otherwise this program will not work at all. And you need to add this line to a manifest file. Okay, right here, put
This is the shit we've been waiting for.
activity, Android name, Android colon name equal dot show item activity dot show item activity. Okay, and continue at Android label, colon label equal at string your application name, app name. Okay, that's about it. Add label that. Add this line to your manifest file, and you are set. Okay, guys, your textbook has a chapter about fragment. Okay, you know where we are now. Next time we get into dynamic fragment. How dynamically this is gonna work. Okay, I gave you the homework assignment, very simple. That you're gonna use to show difference between landscape and portrait, right? And I'm gonna see you next time, guys. Sorry for making hard time for you tonight. Put a lot of codes on the board. Okay. Those are complaining with a lot of too much code on the board for us.
The app name, is that the principal name that